Hey, it's Paris. You know, I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
It's summer. Time to enjoy long days, lazy nights, and great food. Because Uber Eats has deals all summer long. So, when hunger strikes, don't sweat it. Delicious deals are just a tap away on Uber Eats. Enjoy all your favorite grocery items delivered straight to you. Get ice cream, soda, and snacks from your favorite stores like Wegmans and CVS and make the most of every moment. Now that sounds like a good summer. Order now on Uber Eats. Terms apply. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
Welcome back to another episode of Unscripted. I'm Natalie.
And I'm Paige.
And today we have something a little bit different that we're both really excited about. We're diving into two of the most iconic, elusive, and quietly powerful women in modern celebrity history. Can you guess who we're talking about?
Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, aka the Olsen twins.
Basically, from baby fame on Full House to building a luxury fashion empire that rivals fashion houses like Chanel and Burberry, they've really written one of the most fascinating arcs in entertainment, and they've done it mostly in silence as they've moved away from the public eye to do things behind the scenes. And so I am so excited to talk about two people who were very formative in both of our early years, who are still relevant today.
When I tell you I grew up on Full House, on the Mary-Kate and Ashley mystery adventures series and the party series, I could sing both those songs. I did a little, what did I call it last night? Streaming investigation for this episode. And I kind of went back to that space. And when that theme song came on, when I was buzzing through one of my most favorite episodes, which is the sleepover party, it brought me all the way back to why I loved them. And I will tell you, I don't want to say corniness, but there's an intentional, we'll use corniness, I guess, and feel goodness that was supposed to be reached for that. I mean, it was for kids their age and a little younger. I'm really excited to get into all their different eras because they did have some eras, and I'm just so excited. June 13th, 1986 is when they were born in Sherman Oaks. And then only 9 months later, they were cast as Michelle Tanner on Full House. So imagine that. 9 months of life, which no one remembers, like month 0 to 9. They were already working. They were already a star.
They were pulling in paychecks at 9 months old.
They were a co-star of a show at 9 months, pulling in paychecks.
They obviously shared the role of Michelle Tanner because of child labor laws.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes when a child is cast on set, they can only work a minimum number of hours a day. That's why twins are really great for child actors because they look the same. And so they can make all the scenes that are needed to be filmed in one day. It's possible because there are two children that look exactly the same. I don't need to explain that. That seems something most people know.
But it's an important piece as to why would have been considered for this role. And again, this is a co-starring role. This isn't just like, oh, we need this baby for this scene. It's like, this is a major cast placement.
And you know what was interesting? I had never heard this before, but Uncle Jesse, the actor who...
John Stamos.
Thank you. While I was doing research for this episode, there's a quote out that he said recently where he made it known that he actually had the Olsen twins fired for a brief period of time in the early days of Full House.
Oh my gosh. I did not know this.
I didn't either until I was doing the research, but he quickly retracted that decision after he worked with a couple of other child actors, infant actors, when he realized all the other kids were
worse
crybabies, basically.
Yeah.
And so he asked for them to come back, and they were brought back swiftly.
When you really think about it, it really would take so much talent for that young of a kid to even get through a day like that. Even though they're twins and they're both not necessarily on set or both filming at the same time, the families are still involved. The time involvement is still going to affect both of them.
Oh, absolutely.
This is a big undertaking for the family who clearly wanted it, or they wouldn't have even gotten their kid involved in that.
And they aren't the only children in the family.
Right.
They have an older brother, James Trent, who goes by his middle name, and they famously have Elizabeth Olsen as their younger sister, who has now shot to popularity, which we'll talk about later as we discuss what they're doing nowadays. But it is interesting to think that they were 2 of 4 kids. They were the ones that were working children actors. I did read that their mom was on set with them every day that they were filming.
Mm-hmm.
So that did affect how the household was run, or at least how parenting went.
Absolutely. You never know how many years this is going to be. You know, are we just shooting a pilot? Is this show going to take off? Like, you never know. So you don't really know what you're getting into until after it's ending. Then you realize what legacy is left behind, which Full House is obviously a huge legacy. To be honest, the trajectory of their career has some surprising parts to it and some not so surprising parts to it, in my opinion. Kind of wrapping up Full House, what year did it end? Was it 99? I don't know the exact year, but it was more so 90s, 95.
I was going to say, you would be much more likely to remember an exact date than me, as we are all well aware of. But I trust you, 95.
So that makes them 8, 9 years old. That's their entire younger childhood.
Oh, they were busy. They were booked and busy. They weren't only working on Full House until 9. At 7, they started their own production company, Dual Star.
Dual Star. Imagine.
At 7?
At 7, do you even know what you're doing? Somebody wanted them doing this stuff. I mean, was it a parent? Was it not? I don't know the lore exactly behind that. So please leave it in the comments on Spotify if you know it. But someone had to help them make this happen because they wanted it to happen for them. And somebody knew how to make it happen, because a 7 to 9-year-old is not going to know how to start Dual Star, run Dual Star. And they did. They went to meetings. They did lots of work towards Dual Star.
I could be wrong, but from what I remember, I believe their father was very involved in the development of this company. But you also have to realize their parents weren't the only ones involved. They had managers, they had lawyers, they had people that they had met working on Full House. And one thing I did learn while we were preparing for this was they didn't just star in the movies that they made through Dual Star. They were actually producing them. So they were doing a lot by the age of 7. I think I was still playing with Barbies, and here they were running this production company at that age. It's wild.
Literally at 7, I was wearing my sister's old 80s prom dresses with my Iago color changing spoon from a cereal box, singing Bryan Adams with my sister, putting on a performance for the video camera with way too much blush on. Oh, I wish I could find that video, but none of them are digital. We have the VHSs, but I can't actually watch them. Nobody, including me, has a VCR. Anyways, that's what I was doing at 7. Definitely not running Dual Star.
No. Their Dual Star empire actually ended up making 30 films. And then they went on to do a clothing line. They had books, home decor. They had everything. It was a literal empire.
Oh, I was reading those books and I was watching those movies. And I guess this is where I'm talking about that trajectory being interesting, is that like everything was straight to video until you had way in the future. We're talking about 10 years more in the future when we're talking about New York Minute. But the rest of them were all straight to video from Dual Star. And it seems intentional because they weren't a no-name brand. Absolutely not. especially when they were younger, not even just from Full House, but they still had those videos coming out while they were on Full House. Because like you mentioned, they were 7. So 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. They had all these straight to VHS videos coming out. We're watching them. We're loving them. They have a brand. It was something that really could have sold, in my opinion, on bigger screens or in syndication on the small screen. But this is the way that they chose to do it. It makes me wonder if they had a lot more control. And I know they're very private, but I haven't heard a lot from them versus other child actors of a lot of trauma involved in that period of life. And I'm sure that there was, because none of us can really escape certain forms of trauma, but it makes me wonder if that was a way to do it where they could maintain safety and control. And by the way, who went by Lizzie at that time, Elizabeth and Trent both had cameos in a couple of different
My Brother for Sale, I believe both of them appeared in that.
Sure. And Sleepover Party, Trent shows up, and then they credit her as Lizzie in, I think it's the Great Thorn Mansion. I don't know if it's during the song where they're talking about where they're bored and there's nothing to do, but she's at least in the beginning where she's supposed to be this like annoying younger sister in like one scene. So each of them get a scene, and I'm sure that there's a couple others that I'm missing, but it definitely seems like it was, you know, more of a family affair. People in the family are being involved probably behind scenes and then getting a scene in a video or whatever. It definitely seemed there was a little bit more of that collective idea of what was going on. And again, I wonder if being straight to video, which I do not think that their name and brand needed to be, I think it was bigger than that. It always kind of confused me as a kid too. Like, why do I have to walk around a store to find out that there's a new one? We didn't have social media saying, hey, go find Sleepover Party. Like, we didn't know unless we were walking around.
I'm going to give you a little bit of info, some stuff that we talk about in a few of my classes.
Please.
Back in the day when VHS and DVD sales were happening, because obviously now everybody's streaming.
True. Good point.
This is how people were making a lot of money. So it could have obviously been a way to keep things close to home, a little bit more strict on who was involved, but it obviously was a business decision in order to make as much money as possible, because they were able to release and have those VHSs purchased by hundreds of thousands of little girls just like us. They were making a lot of money doing it that way versus releasing in theaters, because the quality wasn't there. Like, as we talked about earlier, they were a little bit cheesy, but that's okay for a VHS.
Oh, right. And that's all part of that straight to video trajectory that I'm talking about too. So you bring up a great point in that not only was it straight to video, it wasn't the vibe. Like, it fit the vibe to be straight to video. And again, that's why I feel like it was intentional.
Well, so they kept low production costs and they made all their money back and more in sales.
And we were shopping in stores or catalogs. We didn't use the internet to find out what was new. We didn't use social media for announcements. So it makes sense that, like, yeah, we would walk around a Target or a Kmart or a Walmart or whatever. We didn't have Walmart in my area back then, but we had Kmart and we had Target. And it makes me feel like that made more sense to push it to the stores. We did find them, and we were finding them. I remember specifically finding Sleepover Party, and that was one of my favorites. And I knew it was cheesy when I was watching it, but man, did I love that one. And I remember finding it being like, ooh, a new one, and it's about Sleepover Party. This is going to be great. I'm going to watch this. And I remember finding that one, but the rest of them, maybe my mom was finding them and stuff. I don't know.
If I were to think back too, I can't recall how I was finding them as well. I know that they were in magazines a lot, like a lot of the younger J14, but
J14, stop it.
Right?
Stop it.
They were in those. And I think they did advertise other movies that they had in their catalog.
Yeah.
At the end of the movies that you would buy.
It's true. It worked because we all know them. All of the mystery adventures, all of the party videos, we knew them.
And they even made their way into Walmart for a fashion line as children or preteens.
Yeah. They were like 12, 13.
So they were everywhere.
They were everywhere. We were finding them.
They weren't hard to find.
Yeah.
They didn't make it hard to be found.
This is true.
Unlike maybe nowadays.
Yeah. It wouldn't be successful today to go straight to video and be only in store, right? Like, you would have to stream. You would have to use social media.
And part of the WGA strike was people aren't making money off streaming services. So any actors, writers that have work on streaming services, they aren't making what their predecessors were with VHS and DVDs. They probably wouldn't be billion-dollar babies if they had done it now.
Yeah. Now, what I want to know is, what was your favorite one? Because again, it was an era where you might not find every single one. You might not have seen every single one. We were okay with it back in those days. Like, you just kind of knew that. It was such a different day with that kind of stuff. And now that my mind is back on that and I'm remembering, I think for me, definitely when we're talking this era, right? We're talking not teenagers yet, but we're still Michelle Tanner and slightly growing out of Michelle Tanner, right? It's 90s. I think I loved probably Sleepover or Birthday Party, but then I also loved The Mystery of the Great Thorn Mansion.
I loved that one. I definitely watched all the Sleepover and sing-along movies, but I really did lean towards the features. I loved how the West was won. I loved that.
That song at the end, the Won't You Hold My Hand at the end of, are you kidding me? Sorry to like sing in your ears, but I'm hoping that sparked a memory other people may have forgotten too. Like, until I started researching a little bit for this episode and getting back in the twin brain, Olsen twin brain, I should call it, I forgot about that song until I was like, oh my gosh, how the West was fun.
I loved that one. I loved all of their movies, but that one always sticks out to me. And the other one that I watched countless times, and now the title is escaping me, is the one with Kirstie Alley.
Oh, It Takes Two.
When you're doing everything right, working out, eating clean, staying committed, but the scale just won't budge, it's frustrating and honestly exhausting. But that's exactly where Hers can help. Hers is transforming women's healthcare by making access to affordable, medically guided weight loss treatment more convenient than ever. Through Hers, you're connected with a licensed medical provider who works with you to find the treatment option that's right for your body and your goals. If prescribed, your plan may include medication as a part of a comprehensive, doctor-developed weight loss program. You'll get ongoing care, regular check-ins, dosage and medication adjustments, and 24/7 online support, all with no hidden cost and no membership fees. Hers focuses on realistic, sustainable weight loss, not restrictive diets. And it offers access to both oral medication kits and GLP-1 injectables. Oral medication kits start at just $69 a month with a 10-month plan when paid up front. And the best part? Everything is delivered straight to your door with free shipping. If you've been struggling to find a weight loss solution that works for you, Hers might be the place to start. Affordable, accessible, and tailored to you. Start your free online visit today at forhers.com/diaries. That's FORHERS.com/diaries for your personalized weight loss treatment options. Forhers.com/diaries. Weight loss by Hers is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not approved or reviewed for safety, effectiveness, or quality by the FDA. Prescription required. See website for full details, important safety information, and restrictions. Actual price depends on product and plan purchased.
Well, you're out enjoying the beach, barbecues, and those lovely summer 3-day weekends, your wireless bill should be the last thing that you're worried about. And that's why you should consider making the switch to Mint Mobile. With plans starting at just $15 a month, Mint Mobile gives you premium wireless service on the nation's largest 5G network. The coverage and speed that you're used to, but with way less cost. So while your friends are sweating over their data overages and surprise charges, you'll be chillin', literally and financially. So say bye to overpriced wireless plans and jaw-dropping monthly bills and unexpected overages, because Mint Mobile is here to rescue you. All Mint Mobile plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text. Again, delivered on the largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with you too. Ditch overpriced wireless and get 3 months of premium wireless service from Mint Mobile for $15 a month. Honestly, I'm considering making the switch to Mint Mobile myself after all I have learned recently since we started working with them, and you should consider it too. It's definitely a massive price decrease from my current provider. This year, skip breaking a sweat and breaking the bank. Get your summer savings and shop premium wireless plans at mintmobile.com/diaries. That's mintmobile.com/diaries. Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, 5 gigabyte plan required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customer offer for first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso Virtual Coffee Machines. Ready to enjoy the bold flavors of barista-quality Nespresso iced coffee at home? Simply fill a glass with ice and press the brew button on your virtual pop machine to enjoy rich double espressos roasted to stand up even when chilled. Refreshingly bold iced coffee. Refreshingly easy to make at home. Visit Nespresso.com to shop now.
I was deep in it, gaming on Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7. Unfolding the screen made it twice as big and so immersive, I kinda lost myself. Might have trolled a little too close to the sun. Someone in the chat told me to touch grass, so I took my Z Fold 7 outside and kept playing. Still won, got a tan, and a nice little reset. Powerful processor, realistic graphics, you stay locked in, streak stays alive. Can your phone do that?
The new Galaxy Z Fold 7. Get yours at Samsung.com.
How do you top your love for your cat? With a cascade of decadent savory gravy over a mouth-watering mousse pâté. Fancy Feast gems. 2 gourmet pâtés in one convenient pack. Simply peel and plate to reveal a pyramid shape that makes eating delightful and pamper her with an experience as extraordinary as she is. Turn the everyday into the extraordinary with Fancy Feast gems.
It Takes Two. They're identical strangers. And they play matchmaker with their caseworker and father. There was something about that one that I just loved.
It was a good one. That one might have been on the big screen. I think that one was.
In theaters. I believe so.
So, You know what? I will stand corrected, but it's that one and then New York Minute. Like, they just didn't have a lot, which is fine.
But they didn't need to.
No, it worked. And don't you even think I didn't watch that movie on repeat along with reading that book? I can see that bright pink book right now. It was bright pink, which is also probably another reason I loved it. I read some of the Michelle books as well. Those were a staple, I should say, back when we called them chapter books. Remember that? Chapter books. So yeah, I was reading the books. I was watching these, but those are some good choices of favorites. Those are solid. But I guess that goes to show that I was definitely watching those because I owned them and I would find them and beg to buy them. I don't think I had to beg very hard because I had quite the collection. And even my cousin was like, do not get rid of these. And I was like, girl, I don't even have a VCR anymore. And my parents are moving and definitely getting rid of theirs.
Did you get rid of them?
I think I gave them to her.
Oh, you did?
I'm almost positive I ended up giving them to my cousin. I don't even know what she thinks she's watching them on. But this was 5 or 6 years ago, just pre-pandemic, like barely before the pandemic is when my parents moved out of my childhood home up the street to a different home.
You're going to have to shop her video collection like Blockbuster.
I need to ask her.
Just go check something out.
Oh, I'm going to be seeing her in a week. I will be asking her, did I end up giving them to you? I don't need them back because I don't have anything to watch them on. But it was hard to let go of because I'm so into collecting. My OCD just loves that. It's comfort. Like you just love to have your favorite little things all together. But that's what being not neurotypical is like, one part of it. And I hate clutter. That's also the OCD. And that's also, so it's like, it felt cluttery. It felt like I wasn't doing right by these objects. So I had to let a lot go once my parents were moving. And my siblings wanted nothing to do with any of the like stuff from when we were younger. I learned that home is where they are. I don't need all that stuff. I just need them happy, healthy, and enjoying time with them. Anyways, I will ask her because it would just be funny to look at. Because she told me, don't get rid of them. I'm almost positive I gave them to her, but I don't know.
I hope so.
She could have backed down. I don't know. I got to ask her.
Yeah, tell us. Keep us updated. But as we shift out of the early years and move into the teen years, they really started to become untouchable, at least in my opinion. Like the matching, but not outfits. Those tiny, colorful sunglasses, the capris that only they could really pull off. I feel like they were fashion icons from the beginning, but this is when they really blossomed. And this is when I wanted to be them.
This is where that starts. Yes, because in the mystery adventures and the party videos and the How the West Was Fun,
They were more peer-like.
They were more peer-like. They dressed a little more similarly. Whereas once we hit, what do you think? Billboard Dad, Passport to Paris, we start seeing this opposite twins trope, but very connected opposite twins.
Yes. This is when they started doing like the beach waves. And that's how I wanted my hair to look all the time.
Yes. And we're also doing Two of a Kind at this moment, which was a staple show up in my house. Maybe that's where they bridged the gap for a year or two before. Well, they would have done Billboard Dad at that point. But yeah, we're sort of bridging from those parties straight to VCRs to, okay, now we're on the small screen at home and we ate it up. They did such a good job, but that started the opposite trope too, because they were so opposite and Two of a Kind completely.
Okay, so I have to ask you, as we're talking about the opposite twin trope, were you a Mary-Kate or were you an Ashley?
Oof.
Mary-Kate was a little bit more moody and maybe boho, maybe a little bit more tomboyish versus Ashley's a little bit more prim, proper type A put together. I feel like they're still similar that way as adults.
You know, I was much more of an Ashley. You know it.
That's so funny because I always saw myself as a Mary-Kate, but I was not a tomboy. I don't know what I was thinking, but I was just drawn to her. I don't know if it was her energy or her carefreeness.
I did maybe like her a little bit more probably at the time, right? Because she had much more of that carefree vibe. Like she was supposed to be not uptight and stuff. And I think that Ashley often was more uptight, like even in Sleepover Party. She's
in the
like,
characters that she played.
Yes, like even in Sleepover Party, she's like, hey, here's my list. And Mary-Kate's like, do we have to do the list again? I can do this list upside down while on my, like upside down and whatever. And then she goes, in fact, I think I will. And she lists off Ashley's list. Well, Ashley's like, check. And so it's like, yeah, they did play into that, even actually in the party videos. Maybe that was a segue.
Maybe it is a little bit of a glimpse into their true personalities.
Where they were going with it too.
It could be. I feel like if I were to really look into it though, I'm more of an Ashley personality wise, because I'm definitely that list person. But maybe I was drawn to Mary-Kate because I wanted to be a little bit more wild and reckless like her characters were.
Exactly. Because when you're growing up, that's cool, right? It's not cool to be uptight or afraid of things or whatever. And we can stamp some years to where we are in their career. We're talking around 98 to 2000. So this puts at 11, 12, all the way through 13, 14. So we're running through Two of a Kind. And then after Two of a Kind, another show comes right after that when they're about 14, 15. So Little Time. And this is where the beach waves really kick off.
Oh, yes. And they even started the trend of what we now call the Utah curls, where it was curled on top and it had a long, straight bottom. That was just such the vibe.
It was the vibe. I will say their bottoms were like an inch.
I know.
An inch straight. But on TikTok,
they made it work.
It was just like the sunglasses. Don't forget they used to do like the bandana too, but we were all doing that, like the bandana on your head backwards.
Were we doing it because they were doing it, or were they doing it because it was trendy, right? Did they start that trend, or were we all just...
I wonder. Yeah. Because that was definitely a late 90s, very early 2000s trend. Until then, the 2000s for like 2001 and 2 went all like spaceshipy and very metallic. And we left some of that behind with the hibiscus shorts and stuff. But that was 99, 2000. Then 2001 and 2 were like spaceshipy and glitter and blue and silver. Or that's what I think of at least. But yeah, maybe they were setting that trend, or they were at least, should I use the word perpetuate? Because I don't want that to have a negative connotation, but they at least were participating and spreading that trend.
And you have to remember, we didn't have social media.
True.
At this time, the people that were on TV and the people who were in magazines, they were really who we looked to for inspiration. So were they like the OG influencers?
Absolutely.
Kind of.
Even down to having their Walmart fashion brand. Are you kidding? Absolutely. They were influencers at this time, down to the small sunglasses. I mean, make no mistake. So we got the Utah curls and people started going crazy. for them. And people still do Utah curls. I kind of do Utah curls, but I try not to leave too much straight. But like, it's just how I like to do my hair. And it's become a millennial stamp. We like to do it. We want to curl our hair.
If I ever do Utah curls, it's because I can't curl my hair. It's terrible.
How are people curling their hair? I have the beach waver and I freaking love the beach waver. It is the best curling machine I've ever purchased. I love it.
If my hair's ever curled, it's because my sister did it for me. Or I tried and the back of my hair is none of my business because it never looks the same when I do it.
No, I can't do your sister's curls. And every time she did curls in my hair, I freaking loved them. I have a video on TikTok that my hair is curled by her. And I freaking love it because it was like, oh, they were just the best curls. So the Olsen twins had that. They had like those best curls that you wanted. And their hair person got on TikTok and made a video on like how to do
Yes. Oh my gosh. I saw this, by the way. I saw this. And he actually talked about the evolution of their hairstyles throughout the years. He talked about how to style their curls and how they would always fight to be the first one in the chair to get their hair done. And then as they got older and really changed up their style to more of a wet look on top, we're talking like 2020s Olsen twins, they would fight to be the last person in the chair. And as I was watching the video, I felt like, is he breaking an NDA as he's talking about the Olsen twins? Because I feel like I shouldn't know this, but I'm so glad he's sharing.
So this person, she was the hair person for so little time.
Okay.
This, the one that you're talking about, I have not seen that video, but maybe that's somebody that they hire for like events. So, I mean, this is interesting. And another piece to bring up of like, there have been multiple people that have had their hands in these looks in these different eras.
Oh, for sure. So as we're talking about these eras, we have to talk about what I feel like is when they really started to become even more famous. So they had their teenage years, and then towards the end of their teenage years, we started seeing them really blossom into their individual selves, basically. Like they weren't just the Olsen twins. They were Mary-Kate, Space, and Ashley. You know what I mean? Like they were their own people, and we started seeing them a lot in tabloids. Early 2003, early 2004, 2005, this is when they were going to NYU. They really embraced the boho look.
Yeah.
At least Mary-Kate did. And I feel like this is where I would study what they were wearing. I would get the magazines at the grocery store. I'd be like, Mom, can we please get this? Put them in the grocery cart. And I just would look at all their pictures and what they were wearing. They had those flowy skirts all the time.
This is where the dual star veil is lifted, if you will. They're coming into their own, and their final dual star movie, The Challenge, a fabulous one, came out in 2003. So they were kind of leaving that behind and coming into their own. Mary-Kate did a cameo on Weeds. Well, it wasn't even a cameo. She played a character on the show Weeds, which, we ate that up earlier. Well, it wasn't even earlier 2000s, like 2007 and beyond. So this is after high school for them for sure. They would have been class of 2004. This is definitely way past that, way past the 2003 dual star.
This is their college era. They both were enrolled in NYU. They would walk around with their huge oversized glasses where you couldn't see half their faces.
Yeah.
These large Starbucks cups and layers and layers of coats.
Layers.
Because they would say, we're California girls, we're so cold. But it was such a look. And this California girl over here really wanted to look like them. But it just didn't make sense in our weather.
It didn't. I don't want to get too far past the dual star veil without quickly touching on or kind of hitting on that at this point where we are now. We've had Winning London, a fan favorite, Holiday in the Sun, When in Rome, Getting There. Like these are major videos that they made in those high school eras. And then again, to bring us back to where we're talking about, just because I didn't want those movies to go unsaid.
No, they're notable.
They're notable. And for me, that's what one of my besties, Kelly, and I, like, we will throw those on to like laugh or giggle. We would do that in high school. We knew we were asking for that corniness, for that villain that was so corny, you couldn't even stand it almost. We knew what we were asking for.
There was a corniness in those films. Obviously, they were straight to DVD. This is now when DVDs were a thing.
Yep.
But they were better production quality. And this is when we started seeing them with boys.
Yes.
They would have love interest in the films. And that was always so interesting to see who they would pick and would they actually kiss. Yeah, it was interesting to watch them blossom from these little infants to adolescents to preteens to teenagers who now have love interest in films, and then to just follow them
to the college era. And what did I text you the other day, or was it even last night? We grew up with them the same way that people say, oh, I grew up with Taylor Swift, right? That are just a little bit younger than her. They feel like they went through high school listening to everything Taylor had written in her high school years, maybe just like 1 or 2 years, 3 years before. That's what the Olsen twins were to us because they were just a few years ahead of us.
Oh,
it's
for sure.
wild. And we did. Plus, they started way earlier than Taylor Swift, if we're really going to get into the comparison of it all. But from the time that they were 9 months old, we were watching them. They were staples on our screen. But whether it was a movie or one of their shows, we were watching them. We were growing up with them. And we were going through some of the same things they went through in some of these shows and movies. And now we were ready to watch this with college. We were ready to prepare for college. And like you said, we wanted to freaking look like that. We wanted
for sure.
At that time too, like that heroin chic look. Kind of like a grown-up emo look too. So I didn't copy them, but yeah, I was like, ooh, I want to look like that. Duh.
I mean, I wanted to copy them. Was I successful? That is questionable. But obviously, they were style gurus. And around this time in 2006 is actually when they launched their brand, The Row, which is still going today, almost 20 years later.
It has a bit of a cult following, just like they do and did.
Right.
My cat Freddie loves to be brushed and cuddled. But stirring up his cat allergens meant sneezing and itchy eyes. Then I found Purina One Live Clear. It's cat food that reduced the major allergen and my suffering in as little as 21 days. Now, we feel closer than ever. If you have issues with cat allergens, you really need to try Purina One Live Clear.
Try new Purina One Live Clear today. Purina One, a difference from day one.
This episode is sponsored by Friskies, who would like to tell your cats hi. Now, if that didn't get your cat's attention, there is one thing that always does the trick. Just pour some Friskies crunchy food in the bowl and you'll hear those paws come running. Works every time. With so many Friskies choices, you can always bring your cats running from their secret napping spots. There's always more to explore. See for yourself at friskies.com or visit your local store.
Are you a forward thinker? Then you need an HR and finance platform that thinks like you do. Workday is the AI platform that helps propel your organization, your workforce, and your industry into the future. Workday, moving business forever forward.
What does every USAA member have in common? Family. We're one big family who supports the military community and their eligible families. And if you, your parent, or spouse served, you could join our family and save big on auto insurance. Visit USAA.com/join today to check your eligibility. Membership eligibility and product restrictions apply and are subject to change. USAA means United Services Automobile Association and its affiliates, San Antonio, Texas.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
If you've seen them talk about why they started The Row, it actually all comes down to a basic white t-shirt.
Oh.
And to hear them talk about the fabric and the structure of a white t-shirt and what they were looking for, they really wanted elevated basics, is so interesting because we're so used to them doing interviews as cutesy little kids and beautiful teenagers. But to hear them talk about something that they're so inspired by and interested in is incredible. There's just something about The Row that has captured a lot of celebrities. I know Kendall Jenner wears them almost exclusively. Jennifer Lawrence wears them. so many big names wear them, but you would never know unless you really have a familiarity with their catalog because they don't have logos, they don't use press, they don't use gimmicks to promote themselves. And it really is one of those brands where if you know, you're in the know. You know what I mean?
That's so what I meant when I was talking about that cult following. It's true. It's not loud. It's not in your face, but when you know, and it is, there are some really beautiful pieces. I mean, there's a reason why in 2015, they won the CFDA Women's Wear Designers of the Year. Again, they had already won it. Like, unbelievable. They'd already won it several years before for probably their previous brand, but they won it in 2015 for the Row. And then they won it a year or two later for Elizabeth and James, which is more like accessories and whatnot, right? I'm not super in on the lore of that brand.
From what I know, it's obviously named after their two siblings.
Mm-hmm.
So Elizabeth Olsen and James, who we know goes by Trent, their older brother. It is a more accessible line.
It's at Kohl's.
Yeah. So other than that, though, like I don't know much else about that particular line.
See, now I'm going to Kohl's, though. We know where I'm going because I'm not buying $1,000 blazer. Even if I have $1,000 for it, which, every once in a while I might. No, I'm not buying a blazer. I'm sorry, the Row. But I have always wanted a piece from the Row, though. Do you see what I'm saying? How it like imprints on us?
I absolutely understand because there are so many dupes for the Row. You don't get duped unless you are a lusted after item, right? They have these beautiful Croc loafers. Look, I don't want to wear Croc, but I love the look of them. And I was looking for a dupe of them. And there are people on social media that will go through and give you, this is the Row and this is the Row for your budget. And they'll give you a couple different price points. And I'm always at the lower end. But it is nice to be able to say, I can still capture the look of quiet luxury like the Row presents without breaking the bank.
Yeah.
That's something to consider.
And 1,000 might even be low for a blazer from the Row. It's like 3,000, right? Like it's expensive. Like one blazer would probably be like 3,000 if I looked it up right now. In fact, I might.
They have this bag that just recently went viral. I think it's called the Margot bag. It comes in suede. It comes in soft leather. And I think it's like $5,000. But it's the lusted after bag that everyone wants right now. And currently people are trying to find like Amazon dupes and other less pricey dupes as well.
Yeah, dude, because a cotton top is $1,950. $1,950.
I was going to say, you don't mean under $20.
No. And they have a coat, which is a little bit more on point, price point with what like a blazer would cost, maybe a little bit more. That's $4,000. So yeah, I'm probably more on the point that a blazer would be like $3,000 from the Row. I mean, unbelievable, but they do really pride themselves on having exceptional fabrics and impeccable details and precise tailoring. Can you tell I'm quoting? But that's the vibe you're getting. This is the chic New York biatch. That's who wears the Row, and Kendall Jenner. So hello.
You know what's interesting, though? I feel like when they started the Row, obviously they were starting it because they were looking for something that wasn't out there, right? A really structured white t-shirt. And then they expanded from there. I heard that they really made an effort not to be the face of their company. We sort of touched on this with even Hailey Bieber and her Rhode skincare. Even though that's her middle name, most people wouldn't know that.
Right.
It was interesting to me that they chose to go this route. And then the longer it's been out, they backed away from basically all publicity. And yet the company is becoming more and more powerful and more recognized as the years go on. And it's wild that they're more powerful, even though they're less visible. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. It's definitely a testament to how well the brand stands on its own over the last decade or so. And the impact it's made, despite a pretty insane price point, but definitely a testament to that.
We also saw this shift away from the spotlight when they didn't return to the Fuller House reboot, right? They famously declined. I heard that John Stamos was not happy. Man, he has a lot of quotes about these girls. But as I was researching for this episode, I did see that he admitted he was upset with them initially.
I think he's not alone in that. And that's why in that first episode, they were kind of like calling out that Michelle wasn't there and they all like looked. And that's the only episode of Fuller House I watched, to be honest. I was slightly disappointed in what they were doing with it, but I was also excited to see what was going on with all of the characters we knew and loved 25, 30 years ago. But no, I guess 30 because it ended 30 years ago. So 30, 40 years ago. Oh, yikes. But yeah, because it started in 87.
Oh my gosh.
Unbelievable. I was excited to kind of see all the characters and like, hey, what's going on? And so I just, like, I didn't love the first episode.
It felt cheesier than the original.
Yeah, and it did. It definitely did. The original at least stood as like a show where you knew it was a sitcom. It wasn't going to be some cinematic experience, but there was like a quip back, I believe, when it first came out, and this is 4 years ago now, that the twins said something like they never even got the script or something like that, or they had said something like that nobody had asked them. So there was some tension there for sure. And I don't know who's lying, who's not, what was going on. Maybe they did feel left out. But when I heard about the reboot, I just already knew that the twins weren't going to do it. I just knew there's going to be no Mary-Kate. There's going to be no Ashley. But I do have a little tidbit about who was considered to play Michelle.
They were considering recasting her?
They were mentioning there was talks for alternate casting for Michelle. Because obviously it's kind of weird if like one of the siblings is just never there. And maybe some of the cast members thought like your name could really help this show out. Let's all give back to what gave to us. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So Kaylee Cuoco, Mara Wilson, Lindsay Lohan, and some other people that I'm not super familiar with. And actually, get this, Elizabeth Olsen supposedly was also approached about taking over Michelle's role because she looks just like them, first of all.
And you know, she went straight to her sisters and they were like, look, do what you want. But I mean, she's made so many more successful moves.
She's such a, I'm sorry, but like her craft is too good for a Netflix sitcom like that.
She would have been stifled there.
She's such a great actress. I continue to be impressed by anything I see her in. I remember there was like a Facebook show that she was on when Facebook Watch first came out. I did not watch it because I was like, really? Elizabeth Olsen? It's probably terrible. I feel awful for feeling like that, but I just wasn't familiar with her acting. And then it was Facebook Watch. So I guess in my weird perception, it cheapened it. But then when I caught her on other things as she grew into what she is now, she's phenomenal.
She really is.
It would have stifled. That's the perfect way to put it. Like you're stifling some of her other projects and stuff like that.
Well, her creativity, because there's only so much you can bring to show like that.
Right. And you're giving up. And what I mean by when I was just talking about her other projects, like you give up ability to be in some of those things, whether contractually or just time-wise. So there would have been things she couldn't have done. What was that one show she did on HBO where she played Candy? I forget what it's called. Was it called Life and Death? Something like that, where she played, it's a dramatization of a true crime case. And there were two that came out about the same case.
Jessica Biel did the other one.
Yes, Jessica Biel did the other.
You know, I'm the worst with names and dates. So good luck. If you don't remember, I definitely don't.
Yeah, I think it's called Life and Death or Love and Death. It's on Max, or what's going to be called HBO Max again very soon. Isn't that interesting? I don't know to call it Max or HBO Max now because it's changing names again.
It's always changing every 6 months.
It is, but the last one didn't hit. So HBO Max, head on over, watch Love and Death if you want to see how great of an actress Elizabeth really is, for sure.
And you know what's interesting? She was the little sister who made cameos in their early direct to VHS movies. She was never the household name. As they've ghosted Hollywood, she's become the forward-facing celebrity of the family.
I mean,
it's kind of wild.
Could not have predicted that at all. Good for her. And maybe she wanted to wait till she was old enough after seeing her sisters. I don't know. What do you think?
I think she got the best of both worlds because she got to enjoy her childhood. I'm not saying that Mary-Kate and Ashley didn't enjoy their childhood, but she at least got a more typical childhood than working and hustling every day of the week, like her sisters probably did. And now she has a great career, a great head on her shoulders. it's almost like they passed the torch to her.
Yeah.
They had the acting career and now she does. And they all seem really happy with what they're doing, even though it's very rare that Mary-Kate or Ashley even give an interview. At least when they do give an interview, they seem content in what's going on in their lives.
Yeah, I feel like they were able to make the choices that they made in terms of leaving the acting world. I think they were able to make it at an old enough age, or I should say, I think they made it at an old enough age where they knew what they were doing and it was intentional, that brought them happiness and hopefully what they were looking for. Because then they both went on to get married. One is divorced now, but one got secretly married in classic Olsen style, if you will. Ashley got married in December of 2022 to Louis Eisner, who honestly, admittedly, I know nothing about.
I have no idea about him either, but I do know that she also welcomed a son in the early 2020s as well after her marriage. So it seems that they have a lot going for them.
Yeah.
They seem to be doing really well. They stepped away from the spotlight in their own terms and they're embracing life the way they want to live it.
Absolutely. But I will say, they're not listening, but Mary-Kate, Ashley, please let us stream your stuff and not only rent it. I want to buy the old movies, but you can only buy some of them. Like you can't buy Billboard Dad, can't buy Passport to Paris, at least on Apple. So I'm like, where do we buy these dual star movies? How do we do this?
You're going to have to go to a garage sale and buy somebody's old VHS player. And that's how you're going to have to watch
I'm going to need to buy a VCR and I'm going to have to get my videos back, I guess. No, don't worry. I'm not taking them back. But maybe they want it to live in that time. Maybe they want it to be capsuled like that. But again, you can rent them. And maybe that's the idea. They don't want people to buy.
I mean, they may not even have
control.
I can't imagine they wouldn't have control over it, but we don't know.
Yeah, they might not have that control.
Yeah.
Because when you leave places like that, there are certain things that happen. There's concessions made, there's contracts, because unless they just completely shut down Dual Star, I literally don't know. Because a lot of this stuff was very quiet and a lot of the stuff did not happen during a time where we had all the information happening at all the time, where there were social media announcements and this and that. I really don't know. And there's so much about them that we don't know, despite all of what we just talked about and all the movies that we grew up with and stuff.
But, I think that plays into their appeal, their mysteriousness. Like in a world where oversharing is just what people do, I feel like they're even more iconic because of their silence.
Yeah. And they somehow they're not losing relevance.
No. I feel like they're more relevant today than they ever were.
Right. Because again, that Dual Star veil lifted and they got to come into their own and we got to see what they wanted to bring that was like not the feel good kind of cornier-ish movies. We got to see The Row. We got to see the chicer, way more mysterious side, because when you're looking at all of the movies, especially more so the teen movies, because I would argue that those are the most popular.
A little more polished.
Well, it's more so what's popular, what was watched, right? When we wanted to watch them, The When in Rome's The Holiday in the Sun, I would say it's probably one of their most popular teen movies. And then, of course, people love Billboard Dad, A Passport to Paris and whatnot. And you want to know what's funny is I had this collection. I don't want to call it collection, but is that what it is? It was like 4 or 5 of their movies put together where you could just buy them together. Let's call it like a set kind of thing. But it was one case and then you had 4 or 5 DVDs and it was called Mary-Kate and Ashley Around the World Volume 2. So it was like Holiday in the Sun, When in Rome. I can't remember all that was in there. I still have it somewhere because I refused to get rid of that when I got rid of all my DVDs. And they called it Volume 2. So I always grew up. Once I had that, I always wondered, where is Volume 1? I need to find Volume 1. Where is Volume 1? So even as I've aged, every once in a while, I will Google like Mary-Kate and Ashley Around the World Volume 1. Cannot find it. And then I think I found that it actually doesn't exist. So I'm like, is this just a joke? They call it Volume 2, like as a joke.
A misprint, perhaps?
Is it a misprint? I don't know. I don't know a lot of people that have this set, but if you Google it, you can still see pictures of it and stuff, and you guys will understand what I'm saying.
We'll put it on the Instagram carousel photos.
Yeah, I'll try to see if I can even find my exact set because I left it with my Disney DVDs that were the only ones I didn't really want to get rid of just yet. But the rest of my DVDs, man, I chucked them. I got to be honest. I feel so bad, but I just can't have that kind of clutter around. That's why, going back to my question for Mary-Kate and Ashley, who are not listening to me, I really just want to be able to stream those movies at least without having to rent. Again, maybe that's the point. Maybe the renting is better than being able to purchase and then stream. They want the money every time. I don't know. But I was doing my streaming research yesterday, and that's what I came up with. But you will be happy to know, fellow 90s kids, that you can buy all the party videos and all the mystery videos in one click, and they're both $20.
That sounds like the deal of the century.
It kind of is because they were hard to find. So yay.
So you have that question for Mary-Kate and Ashley. I have a question for our listeners before we wrap up today.
Ooh.
If you were an Olsen twins fan like we were you a Mary-Kate or were you an Ashley? Leave it in the comments. We need to know. Let us know.
Yes, or maybe we could do the Spotify polls as well.
Yeah.
I should be able to put one of those up. So if the poll is up, click that. Otherwise, leave it in the comments. Who's Mary-Kate? Who's Ashley? And what was your favorite Mary-Kate and Ashley?
This is an important question.
It is important. What was your favorite movie? I guess we'll go with movies because So Little Time and Two of a Kind were kind of a little bit different than obviously the hardcore heart of their career, which was the dual star movies and series. So that's where we'll leave it. This is so fun. I hope we get to do deep dives like this with other celebrities.
Oh, we have a list going. So
yeah, the secret's out.
The secret's out. Stay tuned. Be sure to tune in this Thursday for our true crime case that we're covering. And then next Monday for another unscripted episode. Until then, bye.
When you're doing everything right, working out, eating clean, staying committed, but the scale just won't budge, it's frustrating and honestly exhausting. But that's exactly where Hers can help. Hers is transforming women's healthcare by making access to affordable, medically guided weight loss treatment more convenient than ever. Through Hers, you're connected with a licensed medical provider who works with you to find the treatment option that's right for your body and your goals. If prescribed, your plan may include medication as a part of a comprehensive, doctor-developed weight loss program. You'll get ongoing care, regular check-ins, dosage and medication adjustments, and 24/7 online support, all with no hidden cost and no membership fees. Hers focuses on realistic, sustainable weight loss, not restrictive diets. And it offers access to both oral medication kits and GLP-1 injectables. Oral medication kits start at just $69 a month with a 10-month plan when paid up front. And the best part? Everything is delivered straight to your door with free shipping. If you've been struggling to find a weight loss solution that works for you, Hers might be the place to start. Affordable, accessible, and tailored to you. Start your free online visit today at forhers.com/diaries. That's forhers.com/diaries for your personalized weight loss treatment options. Forhers.com/diaries. Weight loss by Hers is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not approved or reviewed for safety, effectiveness, or quality by the FDA. Prescription required. See website for full details, important safety information, and restrictions. Actual price depends on product and plan purchased.
Well, you're out enjoying the beach, barbecues, and those lovely summer 3-day weekends, your wireless bill should be the last thing that you're worried about. And that's why you should consider making the switch to Mint Mobile. With plans starting at just $15 a month, Mint Mobile gives you premium wireless service on the nation's largest 5G network. The coverage and speed that you're used to, but with way less cost. So while your friends are sweating over their data overages and surprise charges, you'll be chillin', literally and financially. So say bye to overpriced wireless plans and jaw-dropping monthly bills and unexpected overages. because Mint Mobile is here to rescue you. All Mint Mobile plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text. Again, delivered on the largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with you too. Ditch overpriced wireless and get 3 months of premium wireless service from Mint Mobile for $15 a month. Honestly, I'm considering making the switch to Mint Mobile myself after all I have learned recently since we started working with them, and you should consider it too. It's definitely a massive price decrease from my current provider. This year, skip breaking a sweat and breaking the bank. Get your summer savings and shop premium wireless plans at mintmobile.com/diaries. That's mintmobile.com/diaries. Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, 5 gigabyte plan required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.